Why is it important that third-party media have access at events? We're going to talk about that next.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
It's lunchtime. What is going on, everybody? My mic was turned on for the opening today, so hopefully you guys all heard me today. I hope so. Yesterday was kind of a cluster and a shit show and all of that stuff, all wrapped into one is at the top, but I think we had a good discussion. So can't wait to break down some stuff with you today. Hope you all are having a great afternoon. It is lunchtime with the Clydesdale. You guys all know that. So this weekend, I watched the Stuart Scott documentary on ESPN. It's titled Booyah. For those of you who may be too young, Stuart Scott was a SportsCenter anchor in the mid-90s through 2015-ish. His story is really, really incredible. If you've not seen the 30 for 30 documentary done on ESPN, it is well worth the watch. It is amazing what the man had gone through. There were things that I learned about him that I never knew. When he and Rich Eisen teamed up, they were my favorite SportsCenter anchors of all time. I know that like Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann get a lot of press for like saving SportsCenter, being the SportsCenter guys. But for me, Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen were the team that were made it worth watching every single night. Through the 90s, I watched them all the time. My wife was sitting there watching it with me going, oh my gosh, I know them as well as you do because you watch them all the time. And I was forced to watch them all the time. If you don't know Stuart's story, he fought his way onto the air. It was not an easy journey for him because he was very authentic to who he was, and that ruffled some people the wrong way. And he used pop culture references that not everybody understood, but there was definitely a segment of the country that totally understood. And he became more and more popular to the point where it became inevitable that they had to let him on the air, and they were rewarded for allowing that and pushing him. He then later in his career in the 2010s got appendicitis cancer. I don't know how else to describe it. It was in the appendix. It was a routine thing where he just started feeling an upset stomach, went to the hospital, ended up that he had cancer. They removed the appendix, hoping that would do it. It did not do it. He lived about 5 years with the cancer and then ended up passing away in 2015. So it's been 10 years since his passing. It's a great documentary to look back. What's cool is he videotaped a lot of his own journey on VHS tapes, and the editors of this kind of put it together. So he actually narrates a lot of his own story and how he came up through the business and the impact he had on pop culture, on the athletes, the relationship with the athletes, the inside information he had with the athletes. It's just really, really good. If you have the time, it's less than an hour, maybe like 40, 45 minutes. It's a 30 for 30 on ESPN. definitely worth checking out. If you're not into sports, it's a great story about a father, a husband, everything that he went through, the fight for cancer, the fight through cancer, what that did to him and how he kept the fight going. And really the fight was all about just being there for his daughters as long as he could. And if you're a parent, you would understand that completely. It was a big tearjerker watch for me. Again, he was my favorite Sports Center anchor with Rich Eisen. That team was awesome and definitely worth a watch. So if you've not seen it, please go check that out. It is totally worth it. Train Olive, Stuart was an icon of ESPN. He truly was. He changed the way they do Sports Center. And I think we've learned over the past several years that, like, even in the podcast world, the more authentic you are to who you are, the better you're going to do. The more people are going to listen to what you have to say. If you try to sugarcoat everything and you try to make everything bland and vanilla, you're not going to do as well. It's really funny that, I watch this documentary and I look at how the evolution of this podcast is. The more dislikes I get on YouTube, the more viewers I get. And that's wild that, like, when you get people to get emotional about your takes, it bleeds into that they're more committed to finding out what you have to say. And they may not like what you have to say. They hit that dislike button. But it's really funny how that correlates with higher viewership, the more dislikes you get. And so I love seeing when my shows get a dislike button. It means that I have created an emotion in somebody and that they vehemently disagree with me, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody is entitled to have the feeling they have when I say something. And that's what happened with Stuart Scott. He would say things, people would disagree, but it made him more popular in the end because it was something that was authentic and people knew that he was going to be genuine to his own beliefs. So I thought that was a pretty cool correlation. And it kind of bleeds into the main topic for today's lunch show. And that is, I was sitting back last night thinking, I think that the third-party media struggles so hard in this space to get to get the proper respect from events and organizations that are trying to build things in the space. And John George, I gave you a dislike once about a year ago, and I'm still here and love your show. See, it's all good. But it's okay. It's okay that we disagree and we have discussions. And that's what I love about this. It's okay that you have a different opinion than I do. It's fine. Let's talk it out. Let's argue it out. Jamie and I disagree all the time. We fight all the time. And that's what's awesome about our friendship is I know that she is not going to sugarcoat things to me. I know that she's going to be honest with me, and we can have those discussions and those arguments, and we're still great friends after it's all over. And so what I want to point out about this third-party media thing and events is I'm going to give you guys an example. During the CrossFit Games last year, Savan Matosian had a very harsh take about too many machines leaking themselves into the CrossFit space. He talked about it a lot on his show. And since he did that, since he gave that opinion, that topic has appeared everywhere. It's appeared in Hiller videos. It appeared on our show Sunday night with Carolyn having strong feelings about the subject because she heard it on Get With the Programming and their thoughts on the machines coming into the fitness space. So this one man has a gripe about machines. It leaks into all the other media in the space. And then I watched Dave's Week in Review yesterday, and it's on his show. And Dave takes 5 to 10 minutes to talk about why machines are important, why he uses machines, all of that stuff. So this one podcaster, this one third-party media brings up one grievance he has about things going on in the CrossFit space, and it has spread to every other media member. And CrossFit itself with Dave Castro, it's being talked about everywhere. And it's become a legit controversial topic about, are we leaning too much on machines in workouts? So I ask you, why, if you're an event and things can become so viral so fast and you never know where it's going to come from in this third-party media world, why would you not embrace third-party media coming to your event, doing live podcasts, doing their thing inside the walls of your entity and sharing what they're doing at your event to get people talking about what's going on in your event? And I know the reason that they do not do it is because there is a fear that someone is going to talk poorly about them. Now, I just told you my biggest viewed shows are the ones where people hit dislike. So if you're a third-party entity, or if you're an event and you're letting third-party media in to talk, okay, maybe they say something that isn't flattering, but if it takes off and people are talking about your event and people are then now viewing your event to see what happens or what is going to happen beyond that, isn't that a good thing for your event? It's also a way to collect constructive criticism about what's going on. And maybe with some tweaks and things, you can fix what's going on. The more we become bland and predictable, the less people are going to watch. And that is the events themselves are becoming more and more predictable. Great minds think alike, fools seldom differ. Ken Walters said, drama and controversy sells on CrossFit podcast. Sex sells everywhere else. Jay Birch says, pretty sure the latter sells in CrossFit podcast too. Probably true. Probably true. But the reason you watch a podcast is so, at least for me, and I think I speak for a large number of people, and the reason that in the CrossFit space they're so popular is because you get to give your instant feedback in the chat. Or like me, I just yell at the TV. Oftentimes I'm just yelling at the TV on what people are saying. And because I get that interaction with them, I tune in because I want to have that interaction and these discussions about topics within the space. So I ask, like, why is it that when I apply for a media credential at Legends or the age group CrossFit Games, and I don't get any other access than what a spectator can get? 2 years ago, I put together an 11-part documentary free of charge, highlighting the athletes of the age group CrossFit Games and highlighting the event that they just took part in. And 98% of it was positive. 98% of it was positive. And then the following year, I can't even get close to the floor where the people are competing. My 5'1" camera woman has to like get her lens through heads of people trying to get any kind of action on the floor. Legends is going on last weekend. What media did you see coming out of? What media did you see coming out of Legends last weekend? None except for what they produce themselves. And that is not going to make any, the media you do yourself is all promotional about your event, and there's nothing controversial about it. It's not going to go viral. It's not going to do anything to promote your event. And it stays inside your circle with nobody outside that circle getting to see anything that you put out. It is utterly ridiculous. Yeah. Mark Phillips, just Corey's live stream. Yeah, I got to see Corey's live stream. I got to see Becca Voigt's live stream. And I got to see Maddie Betts' live stream and Denise Moore's live stream. And that is the athletes themselves with a friend holding up a phone showing us what they're doing. Because you can't get access with them, because they have made the choice to get paid by a company doing photo packages and video packages for the athletes. They won't let third-party media come in because they don't want to get rid of that cash cow. And it's so damn short-sighted. So short-sighted. I literally saw nothing from Legends, whether it was a hype reel, highlight, or any press or any recap or anything. I saw like a drone footage of the swim that they put out. I saw a couple hype videos, maybe 2. It's ridiculous. Denise says hi. She just came into the chat. Congratulations on your victory last weekend, Denise. What we're talking about is the lack of third-party media coverage at Legends, and it's because Legends just will not allow people to come in and do any kind of content outside them and their own entity. And what it does is it does not expand the viewership beyond the inner circle of Legends. It just doesn't. John George, zero coverage. I didn't see a single thing come across my algorithm. 90% of what I consume is CrossFit, but why are you surprised? I'm not. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed. I'm just disappointed. And it's not just Legends. I'm not just picking on Legends. It is every event wants to withhold the ability for third-party media. They make it so hard. Even the CrossFit Games until this past year has been very difficult to get access to anything. This was the first year we got any kind of additional access to anything and athletes to be able to talk to them during the event because they have such a tight rein on what can and cannot be said about them. Yeah, I see Denise said the podium was streamed, but what does it, at that point you get to see who wins, but you don't get to see how they won. So I don't know. I look at like how, again, I look at how Savon made one comment about machines that has taken over the media world in the CrossFit space. I have said things about the structure of WFP and the way they pay out athletes that got shared everywhere. You want things that go viral. You want things outside of your circle to spread out to the world, to share what's going on at your event, I would think. But everybody is so protective and have so thin-skinned about what people may say about them that they avoid that controversy, and they don't allow third-party media to come in and say anything about their event or broadcast anything about their event. It is so short-sighted. It's one of the biggest problems we have going on in the space. Because Legends ended on Sunday, and I haven't even talked about it yet. And I am a super fan of the age group athletes. I want to talk about it, but how do I talk about something that I did not see or could not get access to? It's just utterly ridiculous that nobody can see the forest for the trees. Yeah. Denise, thank you for the congratulations. We got a lot of nice gifts at the end and cash. Yeah, for the first time in years, Legends paid out. And that it was a footnote on an Instagram post. That is something that, like, if you're an age group athlete and you learn that you could actually make money by podiuming at this event, it would make a world of difference on whether you would be willing to compete or not. Yet it is a footnote on an Instagram post, on an internal post that nobody, the only reason I saw it is because Holly sent it to me. If Holly wouldn't have sent it to me, I would have no clue, because I would have missed it. But yeah, they actually got paid this year. But we don't get to talk about that because they didn't let anybody see that. And I look at the WFP that's happening this weekend, and the such little video available about what's going on. You have all these athletes doing meet and greets. You have all these athletes there on site, and nothing is coming out about it from the WFP. And they've made it so hard for third-party media to get involved because they don't want, they just don't want the controversy. I mean, the fact that Colton is in 6th place going into the finals at WFP and doesn't even know the contract structure of what it may be like if he gets it, because they won't make public with the contracts that they gave out this year. Hiller, I put out more at Crash than they have at WFP thus far. There is absolutely no doubt about that. I understand, Jonathan, that Colton is not a pro, but because they're not making the details of the contract public, nobody understands it. So if you don't understand what you're fighting for, nobody's going to buy into the fact that they're trying. What does it mean to have a contract? How many events do they have to participate in to keep the contract? Nobody knows any of those details. It wasn't until they were pushed on it by third-party media that they released what the contracts would be next season. I mean, Will went from saying we're not going to release the information to releasing the information because they actually got pushed on it. It requires actual work. They don't work. They snatch 275 on the arena floor. Denise, who won Legends this year, didn't realize she gets an automatic invite to Del Mar for winning. She just has to qualify for the semis. And she found that out after she won. Like, none of this information is out there for anybody to see. Thank you, Savon. If you want the algorithm to feed you this show every morning, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for that. The WFP is more confusing than an essential oils MLM scheme. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. So there's all this media out there. I used the example of Savon complaining about machines and how it has taken over the media space in the CrossFit world. It is everywhere. That influence can be used for good if you're an event. It can be used to promote your event, but you refuse to reach out to everybody because you're afraid of getting your feelings hurt. With some small changes, reaching out to some of this third-party media who are dying to cover your events, who are dying to get more information, suck it up, get some thick skin, let people in that can help promote your stuff. Your reels, your internal shit is not going viral. It's not taking over the media space. Hiller's is, Savon's is. Those are the people that are making a difference. Let people in, let them talk about your stuff, let them have access to the information so that this stuff can grow outside of your bubble. That's a big problem. Look at Rogue. Rogue is one of the biggest entities on the face of this CrossFit world. And Katie does an interview with Savon every night after the show because she knows that reaches people that she can't. Athletes let Hiller come to their house and do 48 hours with them because they know that reaches beyond them, outside of their bubble to help promote them. Those are the smart people in the space. Those are the people that get it. Hell, the games, Dave comes on with Savon after every night of the show. The biggest entity in all of the CrossFit space. They know it's worth taking 15 minutes to come on a show to reach people that they don't get to reach. And these other entities are just dumb and so afraid that someone's going to say something bad about them. And they're going to be stuck as small entities. I don't know why athletes aren't begging Hiller to come for a weekend, honestly. I don't know either. I don't know your sources, Seema Boobs, courtesy of Vindicate. That would require Will not being high for 30 minutes. I don't know his weed smoking schedule, but sure. Does that mean I have permission to leave your show if you run over Savon? It's a free market, buddy. You can go wherever you want to go. There's enough talk going on for everybody. So yeah. So that's my little riff about that. I want to finish up with just because I've been transparent about this, I'm going through these health issues. Tomorrow is my consult for the biopsy on my lungs. Again, they don't believe it's cancer, but they have to rule that out. They believe I have sarcoidosis, and they can't treat the sarcoidosis until they know for sure that it is not cancer. So I have to have a biopsy. That means that tomorrow I will not be doing a show. I will be at the doctor's office going over the options for the biopsy tomorrow and hopefully being scheduled for that biopsy. Um, and then once I get through that, I'll let you guys know when the biopsy is. And hopefully we will get back on the road to recovery. The medicine that they've been giving me in the meantime has stopped my coughing for the time being. And that has been good. It's really helped with sleep. In addition to that, sleep is helped by my Thirdzy. Just so use code Jazzy to get 15% off that. Sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is an autoimmune disease. It's where your antibodies overproduce the cells to fight disease. And when that happens, then the cells that are produced create masses and they stick to an organ. Mine has stuck to my lungs, is what they believe has happened. And so there's two options of going into my lung to get the biopsy. One is down through my nose. One is through the chest wall. So they're going to go over those two things with me tomorrow, and we will pick what is the better option to get the biopsy and hopefully get scheduled. But that is what sarcoidosis is. It's basically an autoimmune disorder where my body is producing too many antibodies to fight disease, and they don't know where to go when there's too many of them. So they create little masses. So my lungs right now have little masses on the lung wall. And they just have to determine, that it's not cancer so they can treat it and get rid of it. Does it inflame your whole body too? Like give you pain throughout your body? I don't know. Like I don't feel great. I'll be honest. And it has worsened over the past few months. But the medicine they're giving me it's helping me breathe much, much better. It's helping me through a lot of this stuff, but it's not treating what's wrong. So it's just kind of masking it until it can be cured. So I'm doing these Band-Aid medicines to get me through the holidays essentially until we can figure the whole thing out. Jay Birch says, I would think through the nose. Yeah, I'm not a medical professional. Shanna's the person that's better to answer these things. I would think through the nose is less invasive because the other way is like actually through my skin. So Shanna says, yes, it does. Yucky for some people. Yeah, I just feel yucky some day, and some days are better than others. It comes and goes, and I really don't know the bad days until I wake up and kind of see it. Denise asked, do I feel better that I have a path forward? So much better. I think my wife will feel a whole lot better when they confirm it's not cancer. Even though the doctor says the shape and the size do not lend him to think that it's cancer at all, they just have to make sure it's not. But it has really kind of rocked my wife about them saying biopsy. I have to go to the cancer center to have the biopsy. Like those things are just they're kind of just messing with her head. Trish, have you tried coughing really hard and coughing it up? I've been coughing for 4 years, Trish, because of this. And finally they figured out what's causing the cough. And so I have coughed hard for 4 years. Denise says they always have to state the worst options to CYA. My doctor is not saying the worst options. He is saying that he is 95% sure that it's not cancer, that it is sarcoidosis. But because of the way the treatment works, it cannot be the other thing. And so they have to rule that out before they can start treating. Worth a shot. Yeah, I've coughed up for a long time, and I'm so glad that I'm not doing that right now. Like I can actually get through my day without, I mean, ever since COVID, if you're in public and you cough, you're looked at like you have the plague. And it wasn't due to COVID. I'm just coughing because of this other thing. So yeah. Meredith, since they're treating the symptoms, it makes you a bit more functional right now versus always feeling like you need to cough up a lung. Exactly. That is exactly what's happening right now. And then Terry says it's scary, but the cancer centers have the most experience with biopsies. Yes, I actually told my wife that exact same phrase. You know, I mean, we've been together 33 years. You know, we kind of love each other. So it's tough. She just hears these words and it scares her a little bit. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on all that. But what I'm really excited about is getting back to working out where I'm not feeling so doggone tired and coughing up a lung every time I work out. I'm ready to get back to some intensity and being able to really get after it when these things are cleared out of my lungs. So that is the light at the end of the tunnel. That is what's making me optimistic about the future. And I can't wait to get after it after the first of the year when they get these things out of my lungs. So that's what I'm super excited about. And I'm glad you guys are with me on this journey because you guys are the best. With that, go support the people in the media space. They're awesome. Every single one of them. They are such a great group, and they do so much for this CrossFit space that people don't even realize. I think it just happens around us and we don't realize what they are doing to make everything better. So go support everybody in the space. Go listen to Coffee Pods and Wads. Go listen to Savon. Go listen to Hiller. Go listen to Wad Prep. All of those guys. They're awesome. With that, yes, Shanna. It will be nice for you to get back to normal. It will. Yes, a better normal will be awesome. Thank you, Winter. Good luck. I appreciate every bit of that. After tomorrow, we'll be back Thursday. I talked to Corey a little bit today. We'll when he comes on at some point this week, we'll digest Legends a little bit, see how his weekend went. I know it didn't go to plan for him, but I'm sure we'll talk about it when he's on. With that, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for the good luck. I'll let you know what I find out tomorrow on Thursday, and we'll be back then on lunch with the Clydesdale. Thank you guys so much. Love you.